Hey guys, welcome to the Sean Files. In our last video we talked about splines, and in this video we're going to go over a little bit more about splines. So I'm just going to create an actor class and just call it test spline because I just wanted to show you a few things. This is a blueprint class actor, and go to the event graph. Actually, go to viewport. We're going to add in a spline. Alright, so these splines have points. And over here, these are where the points are. This is the first one, this is the last one. This is the whole thing. Move the whole thing. You can add points by clicking on the point, holding down Alt and dragging, and then you'll have multiple points. Now, if you need to get a location at a spline point, get location at spline point. This is really useful if you need to get a certain point location, like maybe you want the 4th point, maybe you want the 5th point. Keep in mind that in game engines they start with 0. 0 is actually the first one, and then 1 would be the second one. So the 5 would actually be the 6th point. Just keep that in mind. So, let's say like I need to get all of my spline point locations. Now these are, I'm putting in numbers in here because point at index, this is basically saying this is spline point 3. This is spline point 4. You know. And then, if we want to promote that, where the location actually is, and have that value saved, we could just right click on this yellow dot and promote it, and it will save that spline point for me. So I'm just gonna, title it spline 0. And then I promote this one. Same with this one except spline 1. Promote spline 2. I don't necessarily have to promote this. I could just drag over this value where I need it to be. But I'm just giving an example of how you could do it or go about it. Maybe you want to access this information from another script. So you can make it public, and then you could access this information from another script if you need it. Like you need to go to, you have another actor and it needs to go to these certain locations. Because these are locations. These are vectors. So it's getting the location of wherever these spline points are within the scene. These are not called yet until I connect them. So I am going to go ahead and connect them to my play begin because I only need to get the location once because my spline is not going to be moving. So I really just need the location once. If it was moving, I would need to get the location continuously. So I'd put it, control it in some form or fashion, but have it happen more than once. Right now we just need this to happen once, so we're going to put it on play begin. I'm going to save this, and I need a target. It needs to actually be attached to the spline, so I need to drag this over and attach. You can also have them individually, like you can copy and paste, have it, attached individually like this if you think that's more clean. It doesn't really matter. You can have it like this too. Okay. I'm just going to compile and save. Now I have all of these locations of my spline points saved. Actually, this should be not 45, it should be 4. I'm going to go ahead and just check out my spline. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I got good enough. And then I'm going to put my spline. I'm going to take this one out so we don't get confused. That's from another video that we did on moving an object along a spline. So here's our spline. We could actually edit it here in the world, in the scene, not just on the blueprint, which is pretty cool. Alright, so there's my points. I'm gonna add an event that tells my object to go to these locations. So I'm gonna make a custom event, and I'm gonna duplicate this. I need 5 of them. So now I have to name each one. Go to spline 0, and then I'm just gonna copy and paste this so I don't have to keep typing it over and over again. And I'll just put in the number that I need. Okay, then I need to say, we need to add a component to our spline. It doesn't have to necessarily be attached to the spline. We could try it without it attached to the spline, but for now let's attach it and see what happens. This is what my object looks like. It's just a regular cube. I'm just going to add a color to it just to be fun. And let's go ahead and get this going. So basically I'm going to say move component to, and I'm going to do this 5 times. Now this could probably be done a lot better, more efficient in a function, but for now we're going to do it this way. I do suggest learning about functions because it can make your code cleaner, tighter, more efficient. So I need a timeline. This gives it a certain amount of time for the object to go from A to B. So I am just going to click on my timeline. I'm going to add a track, and I'm going to add a float track. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to add a key. I'm going to right click again over here. I'm going to add a key again. And then I'm just going to pull this little key up all the way over here. I'm going to say I want it to start from 0 to 5. And then I'm going to zoom out a little. I need to place my keys. How I want it to interpolate to the from A to B. So I got that going. I am going to go back to my script in Event Graph. And I'm going to actually attach this in front of my component. Move component 2, I mean. And I'm just going to copy and paste it over and over again. Right in front of this event. Custom event. Alright, so now I'm gonna attach this guy to the, attach the new track 0 to the overtime. Green to green, green to green, green to green, green to green. Alright, and now it needs a location, and that's what these are right here. So I'm just gonna drag these over, I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna attach. Get, attach to the target relative location. Get the spline 2 now. Attach the target relative location. Spline 3, get, attached to target relative location. Spline 4, get, attach to relative location. Save, save. Alright, now we need to know what component are we moving? We're moving the cube. So we need to drag that over and attach it to components. You can either attach it to every single one, or you can attach it individually, whatever you want to do. It'd probably be a lot neater to attach it individually, but I'm just trying to show you concepts here. So I could maybe drag this out a little bit. Maybe that will help. I could also do this. I could line these up by just highlighting and pressing Q. It'll just automatically line it all up for me. Maybe I don't want these overlapping like that. Anyway, so that's how you would organize it just a little bit. Anyway, so let's continue. That should work. I think we got everything we need. I just need to, I'm going to rename it, but not really. I'm just copying it so I can paste it in here so I can pull it up. Do it again over here. So I can pull it up. Rename it so I can copy it, paste it in here. Rename just so I can copy the name so I can paste it in here. Over and over again. Again. Alright, so now I have all these functions. Not functions, I'm sorry, events. Alright, so now I'm going to grab a variable. I'm going to make a variable, and it's going to be an integer. I'm going to call this move on int. And I'm going to drag it over here, and I'm going to do get. And what we're going to do is right click and then grab your switch on int. This will switch this, or just add a pen when it drops all the way down to 4. Okay. Basically, whatever this number is, attach this to selection. Whatever this number is, it's going to execute whatever event is on the number that it's called. So this is a really great way to control events and execute in the execution flow. So I'm going to make another custom event, and I'm going to call it move on switch, because this is the switch that is going to control my moving. So I'm just going to put this guy on tick for now. Tick is when it's constantly updating. You don't want things on tick because it will slow down your game if you have everything on tick. But it's a great way to test to see if things are working. And then you need to figure out how to control that execution flow so that your game doesn't use too much information. Okay, let's go ahead and try this out. First, we need to figure out, we need to switch. We need a way to switch our int. So how are we going to trigger that? That's what we need to figure out. So I'm actually going to I'm going to make these just a little bit more wider. Actually, I want my first point to be at the 0 location. Just like my square. And then I'm going to go to the next point. I'm going to move that out. I'm going to go to the next point. Move that out. Oops. And the next point, move that out. Alright. And now I'm going to add in boxes. Trigger boxes. So I'm going to add in a box collision, actually, is what it's called. And I am going to put my box. Where is my box? There it is. Over each of the spline dots. I'm going to duplicate it and put another one over here. Duplicate it, put one here. Duplicate it, put one here. Looks like we need another spline point. So I'm just going to go to the last spline point, hold down Alt, and make another one. So we need another spline. So that we have the number that we made, which was 5. Remember 0 is actually 1 in this world. I do not have these boxes on the right points. Let me check that out. Alright, I don't want to be on holding on or selecting the spline. I just want my box. Sometimes it's hard to unselect these splines. Anyway, it's probably because these are attached. So box 1, box 2, box 3, no, yeah. Box 4. That's weird. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Box. Collision, duplicate, I'm going to unparent these boxes, and I'm just going to put boxes over each of my spline points. I'm going to go over to my event graph, and on my play begin I need to I'll get a sequence because we're gonna do this, but we're also gonna run another thing. A sequence allows this to be run and this, so that I don't have to put at the tail end of this guy over here. It just keeps it separate a little bit, but it runs both things. It'll run the first one and then the second one, and then it'll run the first. It'll just keep running everything. So, sequence is not very good at controlling execution code. I need to get actor of class. And I need to get my first person character, which is me, my character. The character I'm playing. And I'm gonna set it by I'm actually promote it by right clicking on my blue dot. I'm gonna name it player actor. Okay. And then I'm gonna come over here to all my boxes. And in all my boxes, I need to add a begin overlap. So for each of these boxes, click on begin overlap and pull all of them up. And then drag them over here. We need to cast to first person BP, which is my character. So whatever you named yours, just duplicate that over and over again. And then attach. And hook up other actor to your object, because it's saying if the object that overlapped this box is my first person character, then execute whatever codes down the line, which is going to be we're going to be switching our ints. So go over here to move on int, and we're going to do set, because this is going to set the int number, the integer. So this is what will cause each of these events to take place. I'm just going to attach, and then I'm going to just change these numbers. Hopefully it's the correct box that it's supposed to be corresponding to. So, alright, so now let's just test, see if it works. I'm going to delete my actor because I've changed it so much it's kind of looks a little weird. Now it's correct. So I just took it out of the scene and put it back in there. I'm just going to take some of my actors out of the scene that are a little distracting, that have nothing to do with what we're doing right now. Alright, so I'm going to push play. Alright, so I can't see my boxes and I kind of want to see them. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to my my test spline, and I'm just going to go to these boxes and I'm going to make them not hidden in game right here. Click that off so I can see them, you know, so I know what I'm walking into. Alright, I'm going to pull this up just a tiny bit. There we go. Alright, so now let's test and see if it works. So if I collide, oh, it does work. It's just not probably set up to the correct box numbers, but it works. If I run into that box, it's gonna move eventually. I think. There, see? It's not exactly. Yeah, they're not, it's not activating the right spot because I don't have it. That one was right. And that one's right too. This one. Weird. Anyway, I had to play around with it to get it. That one seems to be correct. Yeah. They're all correct. I wonder why it was acting so funny before. But anyway, so, oh. This must be the one that's off. When I go into this box, it must tell it to go to here, and that must have been what was confusing me. So I just go run into all those boxes, and it's just gonna follow me, I guess. So anyway, that's kind of how you could use a spline, like controlling where things go. We could do a lot of really fun things with it. We could move the spline points. Oh, you know what? I think that's why it was being so weird. Yep, that's why it was being weird. Because my spline was all weird. These little guys were not in the right order for some reason. That's so weird. I mean, I know why I made that mistake, but it's funny. Okay, so that explains why it was not acting predictably. But now it will. And I'm just gonna actually have some fun with this. Like, if it'll let me. It likes to get stuck on the spline for some reason. There we go. I just save it. Just save it, and then it'll allow you to click off the spline. Sorry about that. I forget these things sometimes. So I'll push that up, save it, compile, so I can click on my box, and then I'm going to move it. Then I'm going to move this little guy. I'm going to save it, just so I can manipulate my box again. Click on this little guy, and move it. To this box somehow. If I can. Doesn't want to work. I'm just gonna save it so I can move this guy. This guy wants to be a little bit more, anyway, you know what I'm saying. So, okay, let's test it now. Alright, so now it should act a little bit more predictably. That wasn't very predictable. Click on that one. Click on this one. Look, come over here. No. Come over here. No. Why don't you come over here? No. Come over here. Come over here. No. You want to come over here, don't you? You want this one. Anyway, I'm just playing around. So that is, that's another way you could use spline points, by like controlling locations. And then you could actually just, reference those spline points as a location that you desire something to go to. For instance, we had a commenter that had a great idea on using spline points to control where AIs go. Maybe using a spline to help guide AI through a maze. So I thought that was a great idea, and I was thinking maybe we should go over that in a future video. So, but anyway, this is just another example of maybe how I would use splines, just taking advantage of spline points. Another great way that I use spline points in this way for is using it for an elevator. So like when it needs to go to certain floors, you know, or it needs to go to the third floor, then the second floor, then the first floor, and then all the way up to third or to this fourth or the, you know, that's another way I would use this type of this particular method. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next video. All right, thank you for watching. Have a great day.